Hello, one and all, it's my view of that time reincarnated slime. And once again, I just really appreciate the fact that after last week's episode, there's so many fans online who are so worried, saying, oh no, Malim's people don't fight rumors people. If only they knew Malim was being brainwashed, they could just talk things out. Yeah, just Father Midray really seemed like the kind of guy who wants to talk things out. Does he really seem like the kind of guy who is at all upset to be in this situation right now? He is loving it. He is freaking loving it. And of course he does. He's a worshiper of Malim, the ultimate battle junkie. And apparently is of a similar species to her. I mean, he is the same species as Gobta. He's a dragon newt, but apparently his ancestor was a dragon who mated with a human in order to reproduce, just like Malim's father did to create her, which, interesting. Definitely interesting. Though obviously Malim's father was a true dragon, while the ancestors of Father Midray and the rest of them were just regular old dragons. And that is a big difference. Difference between a cat and a lion. Wait, no. Difference between a cat and a nuclear bomb. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Though, weirdly enough, that also means they are still somewhat related to Malim, because all dragons that exist in this world were created from the decaying body of Malim's father when he died, so they are technically still related to Malim, which, interesting. Very interesting. And what's more so is the fact that Father Midray says most of his people can't take on a dragon form anymore. But he said most, which means at the very least, I think Father Midray can still transform into a freaking dragon. Oh, I would love to see that. I would so freaking love to see that. And I'm guessing for Father Midray, that'd basically be the equivalent of him going Super Saiyan, which, oh, I'd love to see that. I would freaking love to see that. I mean, it's very obvious this episode, he is not even trying a little bit. He is not tired or fatigued at all, even when he's fighting Gobta and Sufia at the same time. Which, should not be all that much of a surprise, given that he says he's a match for Malim, which, yeah, that is definitely a mistranslation. I actually saw someone online who said the actual translation should be more like he is a playmate for Malim, which, yeah, it makes more sense. That makes way more sense. I mean, Malim is, terrifying, basically a god. I mean, they worship her as their goddess, but that's not far off. She has power enough to be called a literal god in this world. So for Father Midray to say he's a match for her would be, utterly and completely freaking insane. It would also mean, that he wouldn't have any problem taking care of Kryptos himself, so yeah, clearly that's a mistranslation. Though just being able to spar with Malim, one of the oldest and strongest of the Demon Lords, is certainly impressive, especially considering the fact that Father Midray is mostly human. I mean, he does have some dragon blood in him, but it's, with or without the generations, so he is mostly human, and it's only through their super intense training of the Dragon Faithful that he's really able to bring it out, that he's really able to use its powers to its fullest. And learning this really does invigorate Sufia, who realizes, up to this point, she's basically just relied on her natural talent. She hasn't really trained all that much. And if she actually pushes herself past her limit, she can become way stronger than she is right now. And, she's excited for the opportunity. She's excited for the chance to grow. And I really do think this applies to Yams as well, because he is so reliant on the magic items given to him by Clayman, the duplication bracelet and the ice sword, that he hasn't really focused on training his own skills, training his own abilities. And if he had, he might have been somewhat of a match for all this. I mean, yeah, probably not, because when she got serious, she got super scary. I mean, seriously, the reason why she told the Goblin Riders to flee was because she wasn't really able to tell the difference between friend and foe at that point, and then everything around her just, died in one way or another. Some of them were turned to stone, that one guy was turned into green jello, which, yeah, that was something. So, yeah, he was never a match for her at all, and when faced with such overwhelming strength, all Yamza can do is surrender. Except Clayman won't even let him do that, as he takes control of his body and forces him to eat a piece of Charybdis, which, oh, this was such a terrifying scene. Seriously, this was such a freaking terrifying scene, as he literally became a puppet for Clayman, a puppet for the ultimate puppet master. Oh, Clayman, you truly are a terrifying villain. I freaking love you. And while this version of Kryptos is far weaker than the original because Yamza was only able to eat a small piece of him, he is still incredibly dangerous, as Light Novel describes tentacles shooting out of Yamza's body and devouring all the nearby soldiers, adding their powers to his own. And, this battlefield with 60,000 soldiers, if it eats enough people, it could certainly evolve into something far deadlier, maybe more so than the original, which, would be bad, very bad. And to make things just so very much worse, Charybdis also absorbed Yam's ice sword and is now sucking in all the heat from the nearby area, which is why it's so cold, and eventually it'll need to release all that heat in a massive explosion that will kill anyone who isn't able to teleport outside the battlefield. So, yeah, bad. Very, very bad. And absolutely nothing Elvis can do can even put a scratch in this beast. And even if she could, it has ultra speed regeneration, which means it would just heal automatically. So, yeah, she in trouble. She in a lot of trouble. Thankfully, Benimaru shows up. Yay! And the reason why he waited so long was because he actually wanted Charybdis to reach his full strength so he could test his own powers against him. Oh, that's such a Benimaru move. That is such a freaking Benimaru move. But Charybdis is becoming way, way too dangerous to leave alive, so he decides best to kill the beast right here, right now. And unlike Alvis, he has absolutely no problem cutting the beast, meaning that his own magical powers are superior to the powers of Charybdis, or at least this inferior Charybdis, and he's able to finish him off in one explosive blow, which, oh, I love you, Benimaru. I freaking love you. Which, just utterly amazes Alvis, who says that Benimaru must now be on the same level as the Demon Lord Carrion, which, yeah, Benimaru, you are now on the level of a freaking Demon Lord. Good for you! Good for you! We then flash over to Tyr and Footman, who are just doing a full commentary on all of this, so amazed that someone was actually able to kill Charybdis, even this weakened version of Charybdis, which is something, they probably wouldn't have been able to do themselves, though they seem to be forgetting they're, in the middle of a fight. Though the light novel does describe this fight a little bit differently, because Phobio is actually doing fairly well for himself, according to the light novel at least. He actually managed to gain ultra speed recovery while he's being possessed by Charybdis, and as a result he can keep fighting again and again and again, and is starting to land some serious blows on Tyr, and if the fight keeps going, he'll eventually manage to beat her. Geld, on the other hand, though, is not doing quite so well, because he seems evenly matched in both offense and defense, which, defense is his main thing. Footman is matching him in terms of defense, which is so terrifying. It means that Footman is, basically invincible. But, Footman has really been holding back on the offense, as we see when he unleashes full power, which utterly destroys Geld's shield and almost kills both him and Phobio at the same time. So, yeah, Footman is not to be underestimated at all. I mean, probably not the same level as Benimaru. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious, since he said he couldn't beat Charybdis in the same way Benimaru did, but still, a very powerful person, and someone, they should definitely be wary of moving forward. Thankfully, though, because Geld participated in the fight, all of his thoughts and memories can be transferred to Rimuru, so we can analyze the footage to understand how exactly Tyr and Footman fight and find weaknesses in their fighting style, so that next time he'll be able to win, with him even vowing that next time he'll be strong enough, next time he will defeat them, which, oh, I love it, I freaking love it. Though Geld also takes a second to appreciate Benimaru, because, Benimaru could have come here right away. He could have fought Tyr and Footman himself. He could have killed them. He could have gotten revenge for what was done to his village, to his family, to his people. But instead, he was focused on the war, focused on, doing what he thought was best as the general, as their commander, which Geld is really impressed by, and is a sign of how much Benimaru has grown and matured throughout the series. Huzzah! And I also saw a lot of people online complimenting Gabiru, how much he's grown throughout the series, and yes, oh my freaking god, he has. I mean, seriously, let's not forget who Gabiru was, in his first appearance. He went to the village to overthrow it and take control of the direwolves from Rimuru, which, yeah, seriously, I'm fairly certain a lot of first-time viewers of the series would think that Gabiru would die very early on. But no, because Rimuru saved his life, he managed to grow, managed to evolve, managed to gain humility, and become a powerful warrior, and a rather gifted researcher as well. Oh, I love you, Gabiru. I love you, Gabiru. And I also do just love Father Midray, because seriously, as soon as he sensed Charybdis, he immediately stopped all the fighting and got everyone to start killing one another, which, okay, I love two reasons. I mean, first off, he gave them permission to start using healing magic when he sensed Charybdis, meaning that before this point, they were forbidden from doing so. They were forbidden from healing during this fight, and it's very clear if they wanted to, they could have healed one another and kept fighting, but they didn't. They accepted their defeat without healing because I guess they didn't want to rely too much on their skills. Oh, that is just so cool, and I freaking love it, and just a real sign of how utterly stubborn the Dragon Faithful truly are. And secondly, he didn't discriminate. He had his people heal the Dragon Newts as well, because he realized that Charybdis was a foe bad enough, dangerous enough, where they all had to work together to stop it, to slow it down enough so it wouldn't evolve into something even deadlier. Which might not seem like a lot, but I've seen so many series where people are just, utter idiots and refuse to recognize there's a bigger, badder threat that requires their attention, that requires their cooperation. Seriously, I am still not over Ruby having Crow team up with Tyrion. Oh, seriously, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in any series, and required every single character in that scene to do the absolute stupidest thing possible. Gotta hate it, gotta hate it. Anyway, moving on from that, then they all, they're ready to fight, they're ready to deal with Charybdis as best they can, only for Benimaru to kill it in one blow. And then he just, comes sauntering in here to go fight the Dragon Faithful as well, fully ready to kill all of them. And, thankfully Gabiru and Sufia manage to step in and say, no, they're our friends, we stopped fighting, they're with Malim. Oh my god, seriously, if they were a second slower, I think Benimaru would have attacked and could have killed quite a few of them in a single blow. I mean, this is not a man known for his patience, not a man known for, asking questions. I mean, seriously, remember back during the war against Falmus, where we killed every last person defending the crystal in the span of like 2 seconds? Yeah, Gabiru, you were very, very smart to stop him as quickly as possible, as they all realize they're friends now. Yay! Though, unfortunately, this isn't quite enough to stop Benimaru and Father Midray because, they still want to fight. They still really, really want to fight just to see which of them is stronger because, yeah, while Benimaru has definitely grown, he is still hot-blooded, he's still a warrior, he still loves fighting so much, so... Oh, that would have been bad. That would have been so bad if they actually had fought because, yeah, like they said, there's a fairly good chance they would have killed one another. I mean, Benimaru's ultimate attack, the one he used to kill Charybdis, could technically kill Father Midray. It could kill him, but Father Midray could probably kill Benimaru before Benimaru had a chance to actually use that attack, so, yeah, one of them would definitely die if they sparred, and thankfully through a whole bunch of effort, both sides managed to convince their leader not to try and murder the other. Yay! Oh, I actually really hope these two fight at some point down the road. I mean, I'm not really sure how they could do it without killing one another. Maybe Rimuru can make some sort of anti-death barrier or something, I don't know. Oh, that'd be fun to watch. That'd be so fun to watch. And yeah, that's basically an episode, an entire freaking war. Seriously, this was a whole war, 30,000 versus 30,000. Though obviously the most interesting fights were, general versus general. Those are the only ones really worth watching. Still this is fun. Still is a lot of fun. And next episode is called Alderman the middle finger, pointer finger, ring finger? Alderman one of those fingers. Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun because last episode Yamza said Alderman. Alderman? I actually don't pronounce his name. I'm saying Alderman, but that doesn't sound right now I think about it. Anyway, was the White King and was in charge of protecting Clayman's castle. And let's not forget Shuna, Zoe, and Hakuro are planning on infiltrating that castle, so... Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And anybody who's seen the latest trailer, or even I think the opening showed a bit of it, has a good idea of what to expect from that fight. And it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so amazing. I'm so excited for that. And then we have, after that, only like 3-4 episodes left to wrap up this whole series, which, oh, that's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting because we still have, the whole Walbridge's Council, and there's a whole lot that happens there. I'm not really sure how well they can handle it in, 3 episodes, but curious about that. I'm seeing a lot of people online are wondering, maybe the council meeting, maybe all that won't actually be this season, won't actually be until next season. I mean, that would be an interesting choice. That would definitely be an interesting choice. I'm not really sure how they would make that work, but it could be interesting. It could definitely be interesting. But please let me know down below what's going to happen next. What's going to happen when Shuna, Zoe, and Hakuro invade Clayman's territory? What does Alderman have up his sleeve? What do you think of his fights? What do you think of Father Midray? I mean, I freaking love this dude. Oh, do you think he has a dragon form? That's what I really want to know. Can Father Midray transform into a freaking dragon? Oh no, Father Midray will transform into a dragon, and Benimaru will ride him into the ultimate war. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to see. I honestly have no idea. I honestly have no idea, but I would absolutely freaking love to see that. Oh, and before I go, 2 quick things I want to mention. First off, when I was in the bookstore the other day, I happened across this book, That Time Reincarnated Slime, Trinity, and Tempest, which, very interesting read. Basically, the premise is a servant of Demon Lord Malim, a servant of Demon Lord Carrion, and a servant of Demon Lord Frey all end up working in Tempest, and it gives a really interesting outsider's perspective to how Tempest actually runs, how it works, gives some more details to how the entire system is set up. For example, they use like a point system instead of actual currency, which, curious, very, very curious about that. The first volume takes place right before Muru leaves to go deal with Shizue's students, though the afterword does say it'll also deal with, events down the road. So very, very curious to see how those 3 react to, the invasion by Falmus, the apparent death of Demon Lord Carrion, the betrayal of Malim, her being brainwashed. I mean, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, and I'm excited to see what happens next in that, but I just want to recommend that to everyone watching this right now. I enjoyed it. I think you as well. Secondly, my channel is going to go through some changes in the coming week. Yeah, my next video is going to look very, very different than this. I don't actually know how it's going to look right now. It's going to require a bit of trial and errors, so I'm going to apologize now for any issues moving forward. The video should still be uploaded on Wednesdays, but I will see about that. Things might change. I really can't say right now. And I'm going to do a full video on Friday to explain all those changes, so be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss that video. And until next time, peace!